All right, welcome back, everybody. This is Charles for our course, and today we're just going to do a quick overview of modifiers. And so modifiers, it's something I discussed in a previous video, and really modifiers can refer to really a wide variety of things. It can refer to, modifying phrases, modifying clauses. Within, modifying clauses, it could be an introductory clause, it could be a dependent clause. So it's really this sort of catch-all term that applies to a lot of things, and I just want to get a bit more in depth on modifiers and explain, how you use it and some common issues that can arise, as you are, looking on grammar questions on the SAT. So again, basically, a modifier, as I said, is just anything that sort of adds additional information to a sentence. So like the most simple example is, like an adjective or an adverb. So like if I look, the monumental project, right? I'm modifying the idea of what the project is. It's this large monumental project, so is finally finished. So just, the very simple example of that, just adding additional information about, a subject or in some cases an object. Something else we already talked about, so a participle phrase. And again, with all these modifiers, they can sort of happen at a phrase level, before or after a subject or object, or you can turn them into, an entire clause. So in this case, it's just a phrase before the noun. So like the rapidly rising water is a cause for concern. In this case, the simple sentence would just be the water is a cause for concern. Well, water isn't typically a cause for concern, but if you give that additional information in that participle phrase, the rapidly rising water, you think, oh, okay, maybe there's a flood or, there's some kind of issue with, the water that is rising. Okay, prepositional phrase, again, covered in a lot of depth, on the individual modifier video, which I'll be sure to link in the description. But if you look here, prepositions again show position. So, some are easier to spot than others. Like if I say, the cup on the table or the glass next to the computer, right? They're showing, a subject in relation to another, noun, and that helps us kind of identify what the subject is. So in this case, we have the man in the green jacket, right? It's the man that's, wearing the green jacket. In this case, it's not, like a physical position. Like if I said, the fish in the bucket, the fish is physically in the bucket. In this case, the man is wearing the green jacket, but the man is in the green jacket and he looks eerily familiar. Okay, and the last thing, in terms of just, kind of simple modifiers is relative clauses. And so again, the relative clause, like participle phrase or a prepositional phrase, modifies a noun. Adjectives or adverbs could modify, a noun or a verb. The adverb modifies the verb. But with the relative clause, again, it uses a relative pronoun, which I covered in the previous video. So things like who or whom or that or which. So, if we look here, my friend who is from Canada was sorry he couldn't attend. This phrase, who is from Canada, just, again, modifies kind of our notion of, what the friend is, where the friend is from. Okay. So, why I wanted to bring this up, modifiers have a lot of, applications in terms of, like, subject-verb agreement. And again, eliminating modifiers really clarifies a lot of grammar issues. So subject-verb agreement, looking at pronouns you might need, just getting that information out can help you identify that subject. But the other issue that comes up quite frequently on the SAT is this idea of ambiguous or dangling modifiers. And what this means, I think other books or material might refer to it as like a misplaced modifier. So if we look at our first example, even after getting caught cheating. Okay, so we have an introductory clause here. The teacher and Stephen were still friendly to each other. So this is the independent clause. This teacher and Stephen were still friendly to each other. Now, it's not really clear who got caught cheating. And in fact, we have the first subject after that introductory clause is the teacher. So, I mean, it's possible the teacher was cheating on, I don't know, his taxes or something, but more likely it was probably Stephen that was cheating. So, yeah, I mean, this, is the idea of, it's ambiguous what this modifier refers to. And in this case, the modifier is actually, a modifying clause, not just a phrase. So if we wanted to rewrite this sentence, you'd want to clarify it's probably Stephen that was cheating, right? So even after getting caught cheating, Stephen was still friendly with his teacher. Or alternatively, you could do the teacher was still friendly with Stephen even after he was caught cheating. So in some cases, you're going to need to, adjust the wording a little bit. This also relates to the idea that we talked about in, the pronoun video with, ambiguous pronouns or, omitted pronouns. So, you want to make sure that, the pronouns in this case, he, it's very clear that the he refers to Stephen, right? So you can see how these issues really come together with pronouns and modifiers. The larger idea here is that you want information in a sentence, and especially modifiers, to be as close to the subject they're modifying as possible. And to a lesser extent, that also applies to those pronouns. So again, you just want it very clear what that information is, relating to. On the internet or, sometimes even in newspapers, you'll see headlines where, it's almost laughable because, it might communicate something that it's not really intended to communicate. So you'll see examples of these issues, in everyday life with, especially like social media headlines or posts people make. Really, with all these, you need to clarify subjects, you need to clarify modifiers, and think about how to organize information in a sentence in a way that best kind of communicates that information. So there's really no question about what the information refers to. All right, everybody, that's it for me today. Hope you found the video useful. And it really, with all these, I hope you're starting to form connections between concepts. So we saw previously how modifiers are, a very useful technique to help identify subjects. So today we saw their use in sentence construction and really maintaining the logic of a sentence to organize the information in that sentence in as clear a way as possible. If you are having problems with any of these concepts, number one, please watch the other videos that I have linked in the description. These concepts are really self-reinforcing. So like when you learn one concept, it really should help clarify issues on other concepts. Also, if you haven't already, go to alchorus.com. It's completely free to use. Signing up just takes 20-30 seconds. And what you can do on there is take the College Board practice tests, input your answers, and it will give you a very detailed breakdown on the concepts that you're having trouble on. It will also give you a ranking of those concepts, so you can really prioritize your study time. And in addition, there is specific practice for each of these concepts. So again, well worth your time. Completely free, so highly recommend you do that. So as always, if you found the video useful, please subscribe so you can make sure to catch the next one. Also, if you have any questions or things you would like me to clarify, please let me know in the comments below.